Right, okay. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Your turn to intro.
It is, isn't it? All right.
No pressure.
Oh, no. Now you've put the pressure on.
Season finale, no pressure.
Shut up. Why are you being a big bully? I've been ill. You're supposed to be feeling sorry for me, not bullying me.
Oh, for fuck's sake. The other cat's coming now.
Oh, we're having a two-cat situation.
No, you're not going to walk over a kid. Right, go that way. Look, there's a chair. Look, there's a chair. I know there's no cushion there, but, make do, mate. Lemons lemonade. Ah, fine. You're just being dicks.
Lovely listeners, welcome to season 4 episode 22, the season 4 finale, core blimey, of Stace and Barry in the Morning. I am the Stace half of that title, and joining me this hopefully delightful morning. I don't think I can claim that it's a delightful morning when there's going to be listeners all over the place hearing this, and potentially some of them are going to be getting rained on or whatever, but anyway, joining me is the delightful Barry half. All right, Barry.
Speaking on behalf of the Barry half, I am very well, thank you, Stace. And we're excited. Season finale. Anything could happen. Could get attacked by ninjas. Probably won't get attacked by ninjas.
Why is that your go-to of an exciting thing that could happen? Like, why isn't it like, one of us could win the fucking lottery?
Because I feel like if one of us won the lottery, it would only be a precursor to being attacked by ninjas. So
I mean, that is true. That is... Yeah, that's probably true. Speaking of ninjas, do you want to hear some exciting news?
Oh, yes.
I met the Ninja Turtles over the weekend.
I know you did.
I was a fucking state, mate. My delightful friend, shout out to Kieran Round, decided to come with me, drove me all the way to Telford, had to put up with a lot of me info dumping about the Turtles and voice actors and just generally talking a lot in his car on the way there. And then I met all of the turtles, and I might have cried.
Oh, I did see your post where they said some people say never meet your heroes, but actually it's a cracking good thing.
Yeah, they were genuinely some of the nicest, like, famous people what I've ever met. Townsend, who was Mikey, and Rob, who played Raph in the 80s and Donnie in the 2012 show, were both standing in front of their table because they were very excited about, like, hugging people and shaking hands and, like, really talking to people. And so I almost lost my entire damn mind when Rob Paulson hugged me. And I think he remembered who I was because I've had him on the podcast, but it was like 9 years ago, so I was under no illusion that he would remember. But he didn't ask for my name when he signed my stuff, and he asked me how I'd been, and I thought does he actually remember? And then I had a small meltdown. But so I managed to not make a complete twat of myself, which is good, I think. And yeah, they were all really lovely. And then they did a little panel that I didn't know was happening, so I was quite excited when I found out about that. And they were generally quite lovely in that as well. In fact, Barry Gordon, who played Donnie in the 80s, made me do a little cry during that panel because he was talking about how they sort of lost touch with each other for like 20 odd years. But then when Rob Paulson started his podcast, he did like a sort of reunion episode, and that's when they started doing like conventions and stuff again. And he was like, it was like finding my family again, like my true actual brothers. And I was like, oh, blab. like that's so sweet. Oh, blab. So I was a bit of a mess. I was quite sweaty. Hopefully that's not the part that they remember.
Sure it wasn't.
No, but yeah, absolutely delightful gents. Highly recommend if you ever get the chance to meet them. And the one thing I will say that made me genuinely sad though was that I had assumed they wouldn't be allowing people to take selfies with them at the tables because they were doing a photo shoot that you were supposed to pay for.
Yeah.
But I didn't buy a ticket for the photo shoot because they were only doing a group photo. And for that, it was 160 quid. And I was like, I'm sorry, guys, I love ya, but fick off, yeah. Like, seriously, I love you. And I would.
With my mind to remember.
Yeah. I was like, I would love a lovely photographic memory of this day, but not for 160 quid, mate. I'd already spent like 70 quid buying action figures for them to sign the boxes of for me. But what the con didn't advertise was that you could pay for selfies at the desk and they were only 20 quid each. So I could have got 4 individual selfies for 80 quid, but I didn't because it was all cash only and I hadn't taken any cash. Because what things are cash only in this day and post-COVID age? Absolutely, truly baffling. So I was a bit miffed about that. But, yeah, other than that, generally, one of the best days ever.
Awesome. I thought that would have been your pick of the fortnight.
Well, I was thinking about that, but then I thought you can't have meeting a person as a pick of the fortnight. It's a bit weird, isn't it? What if they were to hear this and they were like, oh, she's weird. Oh, I regret meeting her now.
Well, if I had met like John Williams or something in a car park, that still would have been my pick of the fortnight.
Fair. Well, if I've talked too long, I can claim this as my pick of the fortnight. Do some retrospective trumpets if you want.
No. Have you got a pick of the fortnight?
I have, yeah.
Let's do a pick of the fortnight then.
All right, let's break out the trumpets. I just watched the Super Mario movie. I don't know if you could tell.
Oh.
Hey, pick of the fortnight. Let's let Barry talk because I've done a lot of that already.
Right, my pick of the fortnight. I've got 2.
Oh, you always have so many.
I know. That's who I am. But the first one's going to be really quick.
Okay.
I watched the trailer for Extraction 2.
Okay.
Have you seen Extraction?
I have not. I don't know what it even is.
So Extraction was a film with Chris Helmsworth.
Right.
And it's basically an action movie, and he's this kind of specialist guy that extracts people from dodgy situations, like a sort of rescuing hostages type dude.
Okay.
And it was wicked. Like, I can't believe how good that film was. It's well worth, if you like a bit of action, and you like a bit of Chris.
I like both of those things.
Yeah, you should check it out. I thought you'd seen it, otherwise I would have recommended it to you ages ago. So they've dropped a trailer actually this is the second trailer for the sequel, and the sequel drops, I think, 16th of June, and it's just epic. It's just, I mean, the trailer itself was better than some action films I'd seen. Yeah, and it's a mild spoiler, but he face plants someone into a running machine. They then slide off the running machine through a plate glass window and down to the floor. I mean, the fact you've got enough balls to put that in your trailer tells me there's more fun like that away easy.
Yeah, I used to be a bit scared of treadmills for a while because I saw something akin to that in a movie once, and I was like, oh God, I'm going to be the person who's going to fall over on a treadmill, are I?
Yeah, I mean, if you watch that trailer, it would put in your treadmills. Well, to be honest, I mean, I say that. I mean, there was a dude making him face plants, so
Yeah, fair.
So that was my quick one. That was Extraction.
Excellent.
2. My main one, however, is Star Wars Visions. Have you seen it yet?
No. I'm a terrible human being.
So this is Star Wars Visions Volume 2, but you know what it is, though, don't you?
Yeah.
And to be fair, I haven't seen Star Wars Visions Volume 1 yet. So for people in the cheap seats, this is basically an anthology of animated tales set within the Star Wars universe, and each each animated story is done by a different animation studio, so the animation is wildly different for each story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got some of the most glorious animation I've seen in many an age. And I loved it. And I think what I loved about it was so different.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think there was one kind of nod to the actual Star Wars that we know, like a particular character. But it was in such a sort of jokey manner, it didn't really matter. So I think one of the things I loved about it as well was the fact that it had no real link to any of the films, if that makes sense.
Ah, okay. Because I was going to ask about this because I've said this before on the podcast. I think I like Star Wars to an extent in that I've seen all the films, but I've not watched most of the cartoons. Actually, any of the cartoons. I've not read any of the comics. I've not read any of the novels. I've seen some of the TV shows. I gave up halfway through Boba Fett. Sorry, lads. So like. I'm sort of a casual Star Wars fan, I guess, and I always worry when stuff like this comes out that I'm just going to be like, I don't get it.
No, it'd be fine because it is.
Brilliant.
You may not get it for different reasons, but I mean, it's all of the stories are standalone. You don't need to have watched. I mean, obviously, you need to be aware of like what a Jedi is and what a Sith is.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, you're good to go.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, and I think like any anthology, there were stories that I liked better than others.
Yeah.
But I will give a shout out to Danny Abram.
Woo!
Again, apologies if I've murdered your surname, Danny. Who work on I Am Your Mother, which is done by the Aardman Studios, who do Wallace and Gromit and other such fine films. I loved it. That one in particular, Danny, if you're listening, done you. Because it was basically if you like Wallace and Gromit and all of those shows, just imagine that done with a Star Wars take on it, and that's basically what it is.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was really, really and I thought it was interesting some of the choices they did with some of the animation as well. Some of the way they did some of the animation I thought was really, really exciting actually. The very first one, which I think is called Sith. I mean, that animation was just wow. I mean, that's how you open a series. But I would say if you like story, it's well worth a watch. I really enjoyed it. Maybe if you're diehard, I need to know what happens next in the Skywalker legacy and blah blah blah. You might not get that. You won't get that from this. But if you just want to see something different within the Star Wars universe, then check it out.
Yeah. I'm quite happy about that because I am one of these people who gets annoyed that everything seems to look like everything comes back to a Skywalker.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're having wars across the universe. There's got to be someone else.
That we can call.
There's got to be a different family doing things that we can look at for a bit. Yeah. Excellent. Well, I was sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, have you heard that they're looking to kind of do they're doing a film with Rey again?
I had heard about that, yeah, but I haven't really looked into it much yet.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued, though.
Well, apparently she's supposed to be, she will be like a Jedi Master with her own school or something. And she's trying to kind of restart up everything after. It's set 15 years later, I think. I think that's pretty much all I know.
Interessant.
Again, Skywalker.
Yeah. Well, part of the reason why I was wanting to watch Star Wars Visions was because I was thinking it might just be, different.
Yeah.
And I do think as well with a franchise like Star Wars, it's so ripe to have like really stunning animation and like with all the different like planets you can go to and the different characters you can have. Like it's a bit baffling to me that they haven't really done that sort of thing in the past. So excuse me. So yeah, I will definitely give it a watch. I was planning to watch it anyway, just so that I could watch Danny's episode. Because I love Danny.
We love Danny.
She's splendid. Do you wanna hear my pick of the fortnight?
Yeah, go on then.
I don't think you'll care for it.
Okay.
I saw Evil Dead Rise and it was really, really good.
I like the Evil Dead. I'd say that. I haven't seen the first two.
Hold on, what?
I've definitely seen the one where he goes back in time. That one I've definitely seen.
Okay, that's 3. That's Army of Darkness.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that one. I can't remember if I've seen the other two. I may well have done, and I just can't remember. But I remember the third one. I remember really well because I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, the third one's great. I love it. Well, I love all of the Evil Dead stuff. So I'm a huge fan of like the original films. The TV show Ash versus Evil Dead was great. I liked the Evil Dead movie that was sort of a remake that came out. I was going to say a few years ago, but now that I'm really thinking about it, it was probably about 10. But this movie is, I won't go too much into it then in case you do want to see it, but it's very much in the vein of Evil Dead in the sense that, like, it's absolutely disgustingly gory as fuck. There's just blood just everywhere, all over everything, in everyone's orifices all over. Like, it's just... so much blood. It's a bit grim. It's funny. It's demony. Like it's it's hard to sell people on the Evil Dead movie because I feel like if you don't really like the Evil Dead, then you won't like it. But if you do, then you probably will because I think it fits really well into like making a sort of more modern version of that.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed it. I thought the effects were great. I quite liked the characters because one of the problems that you have when you do like a franchise like this and it doesn't have like the main guy, like, this franchise is known for Ash and he's not in it. There's always that worry that like they're going to try and replace him with somebody who's like exactly like him but not quite as good or but yeah, they don't really try to do that. They just sort of give you a set of characters and go, look, this is happening to them now, so don't even worry about Ash. He's not even a thing. I loved it. It was a good fun way to spend a couple of hours, says me. Thumbs up, put that on the poster.
A good way to spend a couple of hours, Stace.
Yeah, if you don't like blood though, or people doing a sick, then maybe don't watch it because there's a lot of both of those things.
Okay.
In fact, there's one bit where, that scene in Team America where he does all the sick on the floor and it just keeps on going and going and it sort of stops being funny and then it goes on so long it kind of starts being funny again. There's a scene that's very, very close to that level of fun.
Okay.
So, just be careful with it, emetophobes. But other than that, yeah, Stace loved it. Stace seal of approval.
See, I can see you doing a thumbs up now on the screen.
I actually genuinely was. And like a cheesy grin, like I was posing for a photo. You know me too well.
I know.
Oh, let's break out the trumpets for some musical musings.
Break it.
I'm on a Mario kick, I guess.
Was that still Mario?
It was, yeah. It was like the underground theme when you go down a pipe and it's like doobie doobie doobie. But it was a bit more high pitched because I can't trumpet that low. Yeah, anyway. What's your musical musing, good sir?
My musical musing is going back in time a bit, actually. So this piece of music comes from The Last of the Mohicans. Eh?
Okay.
Eh? Back in the day, this actually came out in 1992.
Cool, blimey.
I don't know how old I was, but I was younger than I am now.
I was 7.
Hey. Moving on, because I know I'd left school by then. So, by quite some time. Anywho, have you seen Last of the Mohicans?
Do you know what? No, I haven't. Even though I think it's one of my mum's favourite films. I know. I don't know how I've got away with not having seen it.
Well, this is for you, Stacey's mum, then. And you should, I think you should. Maybe you should do it on your other podcast. Never seen before.
I've never seen.
Yeah.
There's so many films on that list. I'll add it to the pile.
Add it to the 250. But this is taken from the last sequence of the film, the sort of conclusion of the film. But I won't say too much about it, actually, because I remember the first time I watched it and just thinking, Jesus, that's a lot of emotion to pack into 7 minutes. Because a lot happens in 7 minutes, I tell you. You get you get self-sacrifice, you get epic fight, you get more self-sacrifice. It's just, it is proper awesome. And the music that plays with it is called Promontory, I think that's what it's called. And what I love about it, this is a prime example. Now, I was listening to an interview of John Williams not that long ago, and he was talking about sort of all these sort of scores and like doing the Raiders theme and Superman theme and stuff. And he was saying like one of the tricks with making a memorable score is repetition.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said that's what sticks in people's minds, and then when it comes up again within the film, it kind of sets it off within the person's mind and stuff like that. And I kind of thought back to all of these kind of big themes, and when you look at all of these, listen to all these big themes like Raiders, Superman, Star Wars, Harry Potter, it's repetition.
Mm.
I wrote dun, 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 and Star Wars is I can't remember. Now it's gone blank. That's it. But yeah, all of these kind of big pieces of music use that kind of idea of repetition, and that's what this piece of music does. But it does it so well. It's pretty much the same music playing all the way through, but it adds to it every sort of time it goes around. It adds like another little layer, and it just builds up and builds and builds up, and it just stays with you. And when I watched this scene again the other day, it just popped up randomly on my YouTube. I sat and watched it, and I hadn't watched it, I want to say like a decade, probably more. And yet the minute it came on, I was already humming the music. I knew what the music was.
Yeah.
So it's a brilliant piece of music, and it's well for listening. And the album is by Trevor Jones. Did I say Trevor Jones?
Yeah.
Trevor Jones and Randy Elderman. Yeah. Over to you.
Excellent. I weirdly enough, I've never seen the film, but that piece of music is on my soundtracks typically top favourite list playlist.
Yeah.
So
I knew there's a reason why I loved you.
It's because of my charming wit or something. I might have telegraphed what my bit of music was going to be. I literally just watched the Super Mario Brothers movie, and it was underwhelming. But
I have to say, before you continue, the fact that every trumpet has been something from a Super Mario film, and you said this is from a Super Mario film, I was not expecting you to say underwhelming.
Well, okay, so here's the thing, right? Very, very brief review of the Super Mario movie. You know how people complain when video game movies are too different to the video game, and they're like, oh no, that's not it, that's not Sonic or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Well, what this movie does is it just takes Mario games and puts them on the big screen, and it doesn't really make it just doesn't make a lick of sense, really. And so it's just like, it's pretty, but it's so like vapid. There's like nothing there to grab onto. And weirdly enough, Chris Pratt was not my least favourite voice actor in it. Did not like Charlie Day as Luigi at all. But the thing that bothered me the most about the film was that there's a lot of needle drops in it, and it's not a film that needs it. It's ostensibly it's a film for kids, right? Because like, I shouldn't really be the market for a Mario movie.
No.
That has a plot like that. Like, it's a kid's film, so it's fine that I didn't like it. But there's loads of bits in this where like suddenly Thunderstruck by AC/DC is playing, or like Take On Me by a-ha, and I'm like, what's happening? This fucking franchise has 30 years of some of the best video game music fucking ever, and you're dicking around with I Need a Hero. Like, shut up, right? But so I went and dug out the soundtrack, which is by Brian Tyler, and it's great because all of the bits of the score are sort of riffs on, you know, when we actually get it, are sort of riffs on like Nintendo-y, Mario-y themes.
Yeah.
So the track that I chose is called Level Complete, and the reason I chose that one is because it's like a sort of suite of a bunch of different Mario themes done on a big old orchestra, and it's wonderful because the music in Mario is fantastic anyway, and the idea of like getting a full-blown orchestra to do it, well, I just don't know why they didn't do that for the whole, but do you know what I mean? Like, absolutely insane. But this was playing over the credits, and I was like, this shit fucking slaps. I was so mad that the rest of the film wasn't really like it. But yeah, so wholeheartedly recommend Level Complete by Brian Tyler. No recommendations to the Mario movie itself, but yeah, there you go. Me. Final Trumpet. I can't think of another Mario tune now. My brain has blanked. So I'll just do a standard waffly trumpet. Trumpets. Extra. Geek all about it.
Geek all about it, Governor.
Come and
Tuppence.
get your geek news and whatnots in it.
And your whatnots in it.
Look, I didn't think that ahead, did I? I just started talking and words fell out. That's what usually happens.
Clearly news child.
News child. Hey, I've got a bit of news, but looking at it now, it's such a huge spoiler. I don't think I want to say it, so I'm gonna pass it over to you.
What is it? Is it from a TV show? Or is it?
It's a bit of comic news.
Oh no! Okay. Oh.
You might know the news.
This is probably going to be an off-air conversation.
I was going to say, I wanted to bring it up because I want to know how you feel about it, but now I'm thinking, it's going to be a big old spoiler for the listeners.
It's a big spoiler. Is it to do with Spider-Man?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Yeah, no, we can discuss it, but I'll probably cut it out.
Fair. Anyway, geek all about it.
That would just get lifted out. My geek all about, which is quite quick, which I discovered today, is Disney Plus have announced that they are going to be streaming all the Indiana Jones films and the Young Indiana Jones TV series on Disney Plus from the 31st of May.
I wrote this down. I assumed you knew this news already, but what a birthday present, eh?
I know, Stace. I only found this out today, and I was kind of literally like, thanks, Mum. Clearly, Mum had...
birthday to you.
So, So, if anyone wants to get hold of me on my birthday, don't fucking bother.
Don't even try.
Don't even
He's
bother.
going to be elbow deep in Indiana Jones. That sounded bad. Cut that out.
But don't bother. I won't be answering phones, nor emails, nor nothing. So don't bother. Save yourself the trouble. There's someone else you could talk to. I'm sure would talk to you, but it won't be. Also, as well, just my little rant. I will get off this, but it's like, right. I get that Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Mm-hmm.
I get that it's not everyone's cup of tea. I get that.
Yeah.
The film has issues. I get that. Hey, even I can see the issues in that film. Overall, I enjoyed it. Some of the issues in terms of the story I would debate, but that's for another time. But the whole kind of like, there's only 3 films. There's only the trilogy, and people, that everyone was doing today. It's like, just calm down.
I genuinely don't understand people who get miffed at stuff existing that they don't like, which is what's happening here. It's people going, well, I don't like that, so therefore I'm going to proclaim a blah, blah, blah. Like when the new Ghostbusters, I say new, there's a new one now, isn't there? But the 2016 one with the ladies in it, when people kicked off about that, they were like, oh, it's ruining my childhood, or like, oh, no, it's not my Ghostbusters, blah, blah. Don't watch it then, that's all. Do you know what? Save your own blood pressure. Stop getting fucking het up about a movie you don't want to see. Just don't see it and let people like what they want to like. I personally, thought Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was an absolute crock of shit. But I'm never going to judge you for enjoying it, Barry, because I enjoy so many films that I know are technically crocks of shit. Because art is subjective. Who cares? I like what I like. You like what you like. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like people acting like it's an offence to the Indiana Jones name. Like, shut up.
And I think my thing is, it's kind of like maybe I'm much like Indy. Maybe I'm older and wiser. I don't know. But I mean, like, I don't feel you didn't like it. That's fine. I don't feel the urge to now give you a lengthy talking to as to why you're wrong and I'm right. I just don't feel like I said, there's certain bits of it, there's certain comments that people make about it that I would debate, where people sort of go, oh, Indiana Jones doesn't do aliens. I was like, well, he did in the comics. And blatantly he was done in the comics. Whereas there's other stuff where people sort of go, didn't like, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I do. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I do agree with the fact that actually there's a lot of CG in there that just didn't work for me and stuff like, things like that, and, Shia LaBeouf's,
yeah.
Swinging Through Trees, yeah, okay. But overall, I went to, me and Dave went to see it. I came out of it. I had a really good time. I enjoyed myself, Did we need another one? No, we didn't. I was quite happy with the way, in fact, I was more than happy with the way, Last Crusade ended. It was a perfect ending. They decided to do another one. I was equally happy. End of, really. But yeah, it's just that, and then on top of that, people are then like jumping on the kind of the new film and making all the he's old enough to be and all these, and I'm just kind of like, you know what? If you don't like it, then do one. Do you know what I mean? I just don't. I haven't got that kind of. And maybe there was a time in my youth where I did have that kind of energy, but I just don't have that kind of, See Geek Syndicate episode 10. But I don't have that kind of energy anymore. I'd rather dedicate the energy to stuff that I enjoy. And I suppose my thing is it's different if you. So if I go and see Indy 5 and I absolutely hate it wherever I'm being, I would talk about it. I would do a podcast. I would review it, and I'll go, I went to Indy 5. I hate it wherever I'm being, and that is me getting it out of my system, and then I'm done for the most part. But I'll quite happily discuss that with other people who didn't like it in my own little corner somewhere. But what I don't like, and I know we've both said this before, is where you feel the need to almost wait in a corner somewhere for someone to come into the room and say how much they like something, just so you can walk out that corner to go, well, I think you were wrong and it was shit.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about, and it's particularly on the internet I've found this, but I don't know what it is about the internet that has caused people to feel like they need to chip in all the time. Like sometimes I'll scroll through Twitter or something and I'll see an opinion and I'll start doing a tweet and then I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not going to change this person's mind. They're not going to change mine. They enjoyed or didn't enjoy a thing and I had the opposite reaction. What does it matter? It doesn't. So now I just focus my attention on like talking to people who agree with me. And like, that's not to say that I'm unwilling to hear different points of view, because I don't mind people talking to me about films or pop culture, as long as they're not like tearing my head off. Like if we've got a difference of opinion and we can talk about it like sensible human beings, that's fine. But it's the fact that like sometimes I'll tweet something, I don't know, about pulling the Ghostbusters one again out of my arse, but really enjoyed 2016 Ghostbusters, great fun. And somebody will come in and just tell me and not be like, oh, I didn't enjoy it very much. Like, what was it you liked about it? Maybe you can, open my eyes a bit. It's always people people coming in and being like, did you see the same fucking movie I did? Because it's big old crock of shite and you probably haven't got a brain cell to rub together. If you thought it was good, you fucking dickhead. And I'm like, hold on. What?
Yeah.
Where's all this vitriol coming from?
It's a lot to unpack.
I just enjoyed a movie, right?
Yeah.
All I did here was enjoy a movie. Like, you can't bite my head off over that. I am but a human being. But yeah, it's the internet's it's one of them things, isn't it? It's a double-edged sword in that it's great because it means a lot of us. I mean, I don't think I'd know half of my friends if it wasn't for the internet. No. But also, it's full of arseholes. But I am excited for you and all the Indiana Jonesing you'll be able to do. Not that I, assuming King of the Indiana Jones there has got all of them on, like, steel book or whatever.
I've got, I think that's the other thing people are moaning about. So one, people are moaning about, there's only 3 films, bloody blah, blah. Then people moaning about the fact that they've called it, because, George Lucas renamed it, didn't it? Because it's not Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, it is. But I mean, he's now, he calls it Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Mm. Now, on one hand, I can see why he did it. And on another hand, I'm like, it's he's the creator of it. If he wants to change the title, that's down to him. Personally, it will always be Raiders of the Lost Ark for me in my internal headcanon. I'm happy with that. The fact, and I have like a box thing, it's almost like a crate where it's my, I think they're Blu-ray. Mm. But I have this weird thing with a lot of things like that, which is why I don't really buy Blu-rays and stuff like that. Whereas I buy something like that, I might watch it once and then it just sits there collecting dust. And it only tends to be when something comes on TV or whatever, I just kind of stick it on. Like, oh, great, Raiders is on. And I'm like, I can watch it any time, but the fact it's on BBC One and I have to sit and watch it, I will never understand that.
I will tell you right now how lazy I am. I had Monday off work because I knew I went to that Comic-Con to meet the Turtles on the Sunday, so I knew I would be so like pent up anxiety / excitement that I would crash really hard. So I booked the Monday off work so I could sleep in, and had the day off. And I thought, might watch a Turtles movie, feeling in a Turtles mood. I've got all of the Turtles movies on DVD or Blu-ray, depending on which movie it is. Did I have a look on justwatch.uk to see if any of them were streaming before I got up out my chair and went to the shelf? Of course I did. So I was like, I don't want to stand up right now. So, it's just convenience, eh? Leave me alone if I can't be asked to DVD. This took on a whole different angle of rant, didn't it?
Yeah. Because I think a lot of people were kind of saying, well, I've already got it. I've got mine still, but I've got it on DVD. I'm like, yeah, okay, but it's just a nice event, for it. And it's on my birthday. So it's just let me have it. Just let me have this.
I'm going to let you have it. I was very excited when I saw it for you.
Thanks, Stace.
Very excited. Oh, should we call it a day? It's been a while.
Yeah, we've been here for like 2 years.
2 years. I've been fired from my job for not turning up because I was podcasting. And no, I'm kidding. Hey, that was the season finale, of Stace and Barry in the morning for season 4. We'll see you next time for more shenanigans. But until then, if you want to send some comments our way, you can do us a tweet at Stacey's Parlour or at Geek Syndicate. You can follow us on Instagram with those usernames also. Or you can send an email to staceandbarry@gmail.com. And on that note, we're going to love you and leave you.
I've got a question.
Oh, go on.
So, we do this whole season finale thing.
Yeah.
So when most people do season finales and stuff, they then go like on a break. And then
a little break, don't they? Yeah.
They come back and it's like, wow, it's the season opener. Mm-hmm. We don't do that, do we?
Well, no, because I think we only decided to have seasons after we took an accidental break at the end of a batch of episodes way back at the end of season 1 and then went, should we just call this season 2? And then we just stuck to 22 episodes.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
So it's up to you if you want to take a little break. I don't mind.
No,
I could try and plan something exciting for the next episode regardless of when it is.
Yeah, let's do that.
But don't hold us to that.
Yeah, let's do that. Feature-length episode with CGI effects and guest starring Hugh Jackman, and there'll be songs and shit and everything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's often songs.
And ninjas.
There's always ninjas.
Ninja hamsters.
You just can't see them. Hey, everybody, we love you. Stay safe and have a lovely whatever day it is for you. Bye.
Laters.